Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Short Game Long Talk, where we play short games
and we talk about them
for quite a long time. In retrospect, it's not usually that long. Sometimes it is. But this is a podcast dedicated to maintaining your gaming habits while having a short period of time. For example, this game, in reality, we beat it the first time and it felt, it felt we hit a point that was gratifying, right?
Yeah.
We could have stopped there. But we did not everything. We didn't completion this whole thing, but we did basically everything that interested us in this game. And I'd say that took about 4 hours total.
Yeah.
But the game, we beat it at a satisfying conclusion in 2 hours, maybe. And the game we played is A Short Hike, because we're probably one of the only podcasts that's not talking about Tears of the Kingdom right now, which this is kind of like Tears of the Kingdom. There's climbing and gliding and quests, so it's pretty close. But if you don't know about this game, this is a game made by one person. I forget his name. Let me look it up real quick. But this game it made the rounds a while ago when it first came out in 2019. And then it came out on the Switch in August of 2020, which I think gave it a pretty big bump, especially during COVID times. It's made by Adam Robinson Yu, also known as Adam Giru. So yeah, it's basically made by one dude and then a couple artists, and then it was published by Humble Games, which is cool. But it's a really, really good game. The simple concept is that you're on an island and you're there visiting your aunt, and you're at the bottom of this island has a giant mountain on it, and you don't have cell phone service, and you're waiting for a call. And that's basically it. And it's get to the top of the mountain. And that's it. That's the whole premise.
Oh yeah, the only place you can get cell phone reception here is at the top of the mountain.
Yeah. Which was what was it called?
Hawk Peak?
Hawk Peak? Yeah, I think so. Let me see.
Fact check this.
Yeah. Plot. Hawk Peak. Yeah, Hawk Peak Park. And then Hawk Peak is the top of the mountain. And that's basically it. That's literally the whole game. They're like, okay, and go. And then they teach you to glide and that you can talk to people. And that's it.
By the way, you are a bird.
Oh, yeah, you're a bird. You're a bird.
That's why you can glide.
Everybody's an animal.
It's what I wish Animal Crossing was like.
Animal Crossing could be this. That's what's annoying is you could have your island, right? And then you could go out into the world and do little things like this.
Yeah.
And
I appreciate how Animal Crossing has the diving gear now.
Mm-hmm.
But this one you can fly to other islands just by being a bird.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't mind if you were still a human and then you'd just get equipment, like a glider or something like that. Just having that level of exploration to mess around and do stuff would be pretty good. And that could be how you get villagers on your island. But Animal Crossing is a whole other topic.
I digress.
A Short Hike. Very good game. Highly recommended.
Especially if you're just looking for something a little escape. The music's great. Oh. You can choose your graphics.
Yeah. From thick and chunky to minimum.
Big and crunchy.
Big and crunchy, yeah.
To minimum.
It was so... I love that.
There's small and there's minimum, small and tasty, medium, and good.
Yeah, we went with the medium. Yeah, medium rare, I think is where we went.
We went with small and tasty.
Small and tasty. Medium rare, I think, is the second to almost the lowest settings. But yeah, it's literally up to your preference. Big and chunky, right? That one was pretty good, but I was I kind of like this style. It looked better on my monitor to have it with just a little bit of high definition.
If you want to feel like a retro game, then big and crunchy.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, it's I would highly recommend it. And I think I saw that this game right now is super cheap on Switch. Let's see. It's $8 on Steam. And then it's just $8. This is an $8 game. This is, I would say everyone should play this. I also would say this is a great game for kids. It is so like just chill. And it's just like literally what kids want to do is just go explore. And like we beat the game, and then I think Jess was like, oh, I'm gonna go sit down and play for a little, and then she found like 3 new areas that we completely missed, and then we found a secret island and then another island, and we're like, how did we miss, like, completely missed it?
And like I was just like, I'm bored on my phone. And we were like standing in the kitchen, and I was like, I'm gonna go like just walk around and like, because Eric was the one in the seat for this one.
Yes, I was.
And so I was like, I want to get a feel for it. And it's like I know I'm 17, but I felt like such a kid. I was like, I'm gonna go run around now.
Yeah, literally, you just get to run around, and like the main collectible is golden feathers in this game, and then there's also money that's used for, I don't know, like 5 things in the whole game. Yeah. And there's like little caches of things that like you get to save up, or you can click on them and then money comes out. And it's pretty simple overall. And like the golden feathers just allow you to climb and like flap your wings. Because most of the time if you jump, you glide. But if you have golden feathers, you can flap your wings and get a little boost. And like there's 20 in the game, and we got like 18. I'm sure if we got the last treasure map, that probably was one. And then if we filled out the fishing thing, I bet that was the other one. Yeah. Like things that were fun. And like if I just like, I might go back and do that in this game, right? And like if Jess gets this game on Switch, she probably will do everything in it, because like why not?
Especially because I'm hitting the longest summer break I've ever had.
Yeah, you got nothing. More on that in the intermission. But yeah, there's not too much to talk about story-wise, because literally you can... I'm very curious if you can get to the top, because you're required to get 1 golden feather, and you can get it for free, basically. And I wonder, like, what is the minimum amount of golden feathers? Because it feels like you need at least, like... Because one of the races we did, you didn't necessarily need that many, because like you were trying to do like tricks and stuff to like speed things up, but it definitely felt like you need at least like 5, I feel like. But yeah, there's not too much else to add, because I don't want to talk too much about like moments and things like that, because it is very like comedic and funny and sweet and charming and like just overall a good time. It just felt like a chill hangout. Like it felt like a vacation, literally. And it was like the perfect time to play it, because like your summer vacation's about to start, and that's kind of what this was about. Yeah. There's like some spoilers we'll talk about, like what the phone call is, and some of the not plot beats, but like some of the quest lines that are like stood out to us. Because there's like, I think like 10 quests in the whole game. Yeah. With no guidance really, besides like, do this. There's no map. There's no nothing. There's just a compass. That's
what hurt me the most, was there was no map, because I was like, hey, is it left or right? And I get my lefts and right mixed up all the time. So I'm like, oh.
I was very curious. Maybe there is a map. Like we kept finding more things, so there could be a map in there. But honestly, I think it's better without a map.
The treasure maps were riddles, so I don't think.
That's true. But yeah, do you have anything else you want to add?
I searched up how many feathers. It's recommended at least 7.
7. Okay. I bet there's a challenge out there where somebody tried to do it with 1.
Yeah, probably.
But like, how would you even get up past the crow, like who has the feathers?
I don't think you could.
Yeah, because it's so steep.
And he's there. He's placed there for a reason.
Yeah, exactly, for you to buy stuff. Yeah, we did spend a lot of money, because I bought 4 feathers off of him, and that was $400, and then, that was a lot. But yeah, this game's available basically everywhere. It runs on basically everything. So everybody should play this, and for like $8, I'm sure it goes on sale too.
And like, I don't think I would be able to get bored of this game if I like kept replaying it. Like, because you could do things in different order here. Like, there's no... like certain way you have to do things. There's like one quest we did where we got the information for the quest at the beginning of the game, and we just completed it at the end.
Literally, like right before we finished, like started recording, we found out like, oh shit, okay, cool. This is how we do it. And like, yeah, this feels like a game you could replay like once a year and be like, oh, this was nice. This was a cool little trip that we got to do. And you could, go different ways and do different things, and like Like, for example, the silver feathers, we had no idea what those were. Like,
we thought we had to collect a certain amount.
Yeah, but there's only 2.
There's a completely different use for them, and we didn't realize that until we read their
because I honestly didn't even know there was item descriptions. Like, I just was like, shovel, got it. I know what a shovel does, thanks. I don't need to read anything. But yeah, so I think, I mean, that was typically a lot of these games are, it's like we're bookended. So one of our listeners let me know that like they don't listen for the episodes about the games, they just listen for the intermission. I'm like, hey, cool, whatever, if you want to do that. But hey, we have to have some kind of topic.
Yeah.
And there will be much more to talk about in the spoiler section. And honestly, this might be a really short episode because we don't have a ton going on.
It's a very short game.
Yeah, and a short hike. A not short hike. But yeah, this is a really good game. Highly recommend it. I feel like it'd be great on the Switch, like handheld. I have it on my Steam Deck, so I can play it again like that, and I think that'd be really, really good. But yeah, any closing thoughts before we go into intermission?
No.
Okay, cool. We will see you guys in a second.
Bye.
Okay, welcome to the intermission. This is another safety place where there's going to be no spoilers about the game we're talking about. If you want to experience that game, I would say go play it right now, or wait until after the intermission, right before the spoilers, and then
go
you
play.
Then go play, and then come back and listen to the episode again, from the start all over again.
Yes.
Even if this ends up being a 4-hour episode, I don't know how that would happen. If this is a 4-hour episode, something's going down in this intermission right now. But we were racking our brains, like trying to think about, like, what was the last time we recorded? And the last time we recorded was online, right?
It was in between the games.
Yeah, I have recorded 2 other podcasts with like since then. If you want to go check that out, it's the same. It's the Chronicles of Critics. I did a 3.5-hour episode about season 3 of The Mandalorian, and that was quite an ordeal. It was fun. It was a good time. So go check that out. It's a long haul. What's up?
Our last recording wasn't between the games.
No, it wasn't. What was it?
Journey.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. So I was like, I could have sworn we played in person, but yeah, that game is incredible. If you haven't gone and played Journey, go play Journey.
Never mind. We'll get to that in the spoiler section.
Yes, there is. I know what you're talking about. But Jess, what have you been doing in the last? When was that episode published? Was it like almost a month ago? Over a month ago? We have no schedule here. It just sometimes
April 18th. Actually, a month ago.
Almost a month ago. All right, we're doing pretty good then.
And yeah, we've been pretty good.
Yeah, we'll try to be around the same time each month. We're gonna try to do more like between the games via Discord and stuff in the future, but we're chilling right now.
Yeah.
I'm just so excited because we're hitting the 6-month mark pretty soon. Well, we've been doing this podcast for 6 months, I believe, because I think our first episode was posted in
August 3rd.
But we recorded in December, I'm pretty sure. August.
That's what it said. October 3rd. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, so October. So that's what, we started in October. So we've got October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. And then, so we got 7 months already. We've been doing this.
Damn.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? Time goes by fast. What I'm most excited for, though, is we're about to hit the 6th month of the year. And that means we're 6 months away from doing the episode I'm most looking forward to, which is going to be our game of the year, which means we have to sit down and talk about all of these games again and rank them.
I got to start making a list because I'm going to forget.
Yeah, it's okay. Or you can listen to the episode. But I'm so excited to do that because I think it's going to be very unique. It's going to be our personal list. And like maybe if we're doing this for like 5 years or something like that, that's
going to be crazy.
Then we can do like a retrospective where we rank all the games we've played in the last 5 years. That would be nuts. Or maybe we just rank the games, like the top 5 games from each.
If we do one game every month that we've been doing, at the end of 5 years, we'll have 60
We'd have
games.
more because we started in October.
True.
Yeah.
We'd have 62.
Yeah, something like that. So that'd be crazy. That'd be fun though. And I think we could manage it. Maybe, maybe we end up just posting whenever we can and it's not a month thing. But I'm so excited to do a because you'll be in town because it'll be around your Christmas time.
Yeah.
Which will be good. So you'll be here, and I'll obviously be here because I live here.
I don't know where I'll be though.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna be off. I'm taking that like whole Christmas break off.
Oh.
Yeah, because I get a lot of PTO hours at my work. Shout out to my work. But yeah, I'm so looking forward to that, like doing that, because it's going to be unique. Like, we're going to do we can do a tier list or we can do a ranking list, and we're going to do it like live when we do it.
Oh.
So I'm going to pull it up on my computer and we're going to make the list as we're doing it. You can come with your rankings. I can come with my rankings, but then we can put them together
and battle it out.
Yeah. And just see. I don't want to like spoil anything, but like there's like 2 contenders in my mind right now for the best game
for S tier.
Yeah, for S tier. Well, so we'll do it like a ranking from what it'll probably end up being like 10 to 12 games, whatever. We'll do it like one, but we can move it around and stuff like that and do it like that. But there's 2 games right now that are
What if we make it a video?
We can make it a video. I have the recording equipment. I can do that. That'd be interesting.
Something you guys are interested in.
Yeah,
let us know.
We can do video on Spotify.
Yeah. And for listeners that aren't like,
it'll just be a visual aid. Yeah, because
yeah.
we'll still be talking about it. All I'd have to do really is like we can record ourselves and then we can record the screen and that's it. We'll see. We can test something out. But if that's something you guys are interested in,
add us on Twitter.
Yeah, and then I think we could technically post. I think YouTube. If I made a new YouTube channel for the podcast, I could technically upload video, and it is able to be pulled to like one you can listen to it on YouTube, and one you can listen to it on Google Podcasts. So
yeah,
I don't know. That'd be possible if you guys want that. But yeah, what have you been up to in the last month?
Well, so I'm a senior in high school, and so I've been really focused on studying and not failing, so I can keep my scholarship.
Yeah.
Because I have to have A's and B's, but I finished the year with all A's.
Woo!
Got a 90, a 100, a 93, and a 90.
Was the 100 in theater?
No, the 100 was in scraping. It wasn't. Sorry, I said scraping by.
Yeah.
The 100 was in my tutoring / teacher's assistant.
Okay, gotcha. So the class you should get 100 in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I literally just graded.
Did you get perfect attendance again? Or
no.
You ended up missing?
Well, I was sick.
Okay.
I was sick a lot.
Uh-huh.
I had a lot of theater things to do because I was part of a musical and 2 other shows this year.
And that doesn't count as like...
Well, it's counted as school business, but it's still days that I wasn't attended. Mm-hmm. And then there were the 2 days that I was gone for prom. Mm-hmm. So, not perfect attendance.
Oh, that's right. You were gone. Yeah, because you went to Iowa.
But, yeah.
Which was good.
Yes,
right?
Very good. Yeah. Very happy. But... I've tried to like sneak some gaming in there.
Yeah, that's the point of the show, right? Is to be able to play games even though you're busy.
Yeah. So, well, actually, when I went to Iowa, because it's a 3-hour plane ride, and so I took my Switch with me.
Perfect.
And so I played Pokemon. I'm catching up on Pokemon. Like I'm finally like getting.
It's definitely a solid like.
I can always come back to it.
Because once you learn Pokemon, that's one of my favorite things about the Pokemon franchise is like once you know it, like it's kind of like how, and like it's kind of how when you play a series of games, if they don't mix up the mechanics too much, it's really easy to jump into the next one. And Pokemon's like the poster child of that because it's like, you know the type matchups pretty decently. Okay, you know how this works. Okay, cool. You can just hop in and out. No problem. Yeah. It's like the perfect game to do that. That's why, I mean, it had to be. It was a Game Boy game originally where it was like, that's what you're like, oh, you got 30 minutes? Play it. Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
So you're hopping back into that. You're making your journey.
I just got to the mushroom forest.
That's where you said last time.
No, then never mind. I got past that. That's what I did.
So you fought Opal?
Yeah.
Yeah. Opal's legit. She's so cool.
But I wasn't chosen to be the next actress.
No.
That really hurts
Beatty was, right?
Yeah. It really hurts my theater kid heart. But, whatever.
You're going to be a champion. You're going to beat the undefeated champion eventually. That's bigger than a theater kid.
Yeah, but theater. And that Opal character, so much like my theater teacher.
Really?
I mean,
I don't know him. I just know what he looks like.
He's okay. Hold on.
I know what he looks like.
No, but I have. I'll show you later.
Okay.
I have pictures that encompass.
We don't need to put him on blast right now.
Yeah.
He could be listening.
Hello. Yes, sir. I did my senior stuff for you. Don't worry.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Pokemon.
So I played Pokemon on the plane ride, and then on the drive over, because the airport was an hour away.
Oh my God.
Because they live in rural. Thank you, Iowa.
Yeah. Isn't all Iowa rural? Like it's all rural. Like that's the whole point of Iowa.
But anyway, so on the drive over, I was playing Mario Kart because I'm currently on a mission.
Okay.
So I've 100%ed when I first got the game.
Yeah.
All of the regular.
The 48. The original 48.
Yeah, the original 48 maps on 50, 100, and 150.
Yeah.
I don't touch Mirror and I don't touch 200. Mirror sucks.
Mirror is at 200, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's fast and it's backwards.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then
I wish that there was options to do it at lower settings because it's fun. It's really cool and it like mixes the whole game up. But like, I think isn't it? I'm gonna look it up while you're talking. It's either 200 or 250
I just know that
or
it's
150.
Really, I just know that it's really fucking cool.
It is really fast.
I don't touch Mirror because it like messes with my brain and I'm like, oh wait, no.
Yeah.
And then 200's just really quick and I play it for the enjoyment, not to be a sweat. Mm-hmm. Even though I play it to 100% it and be a sweat.
Against the computer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But since I have the DLC package with all the new ones.
You're welcome.
Thank you. He pays for my online experience stuff.
I do.
So, but since I have the new ones, I've been 100%ing them. And now that the two new cups came out, I've been 100%ed those as well.
Nice.
So, yeah. Except I haven't 100%ed any of the new maps on 150 because I've just keep going to 50 because I'm like, a nice little drive.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's 150. Mirror is 150.
Yeah.
I got to do that more then. I didn't realize that. I love mirror mode's so cool. But I feel like most of the time when I play Mario Kart with people, I'm not the best, but I win most of the time. And like it just becomes a what can we do to like stop Eric from being in first all the time? And it's like, okay.
That's what I hate.
Yeah.
Because like I'll play with my friends and since I have the Switch more than my friends do, I know like, oh, hey, here's a shortcut. I'll take the short.
I don't even take the shortcuts. I just drift. Like
exactly. Yeah. They're like, how do you do that? I'm like, I literally explained it to you guys like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
But like then it turns into, hey, do you have a red shell? Yeah, let me pass you so I can hit Jess. I'm like, dude.
Really? That's crazy. I don't think it gets that serious for me. It's more of what it becomes is I take a lap penalty and literally sit there while everybody like
laps you.
Yeah, and then I go. I'm like, cool. Then I just end up getting like 5th place. I'm like, that was fun, guys. Thanks. At least you get all the cool items. But I don't like racing with items. It's so much more fun when you just get in a flow state and you don't have to worry about hitting anything.
Yeah. Or anything hitting you.
Yes, exactly. So Mario Kart, Pokemon, what else? This is funny. You literally said like right before we started the intermission, you're like, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. It's like,
yeah. I mean, I played for one time, like for like maybe 20 minutes with my boyfriend because he was on a school trip to a different province, a different city.
Different province. Wow. Okay. What a word.
It was in the game we just played. It was the first thing that popped up.
Yeah.
But him and his friends. So he called me on the bus, and then his friends are like, "Do you want to play Among Us?" And so I was like, "Can I play?"
Yeah.
And
that's how you guys all met, right? Was it on playing Among Us or no?
That's how my brother met.
Oh, that's right. Okay. I was like, that was the other long distance, or kind of long. It's long distance now, but it's not because she lives in like what, Scottsdale or something like that. Like,
well, now she's living in Mesa.
Oh, okay. Damn, that's far.
Got a job down there.
Nice.
So,
good for her.
New apartment.
Okay, so I mixed it up.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys played Among Us.
Yeah, we played Among Us on the bus.
On the bus. That's actually a really good place.
Because he would, what's really funny is he got imposter like 3 times in a row. And like I'd be walking and I'd see him vent and he would just whisper into the phone, "You didn't see anything."
That's so
I'm like,
funny.
"I didn't see anything. Nope." Just keep walking.
I miss playing Among Us. I used to gaslight the shit out of your brother when we played Among Us. Jared would always catch me doing something and then no one would fucking believe him. And then he would eventually just like always think it was me. And then it would just end up not being me. And he would just waste all of his energy of being like, "No, it's Eric. I swear to God, it's Eric." So funny.
I remember whenever I used to play it with like everyone, I would always be like, "If I die, it's Jared.
Yeah.
If I die, it's Chanel."
Yeah, you just pick on somebody. It's so funny.
And then sometimes when I died, it was Jared.
Yeah, it was them. That's so funny. That game's so fun. I haven't played it in so long.
There's new like
There's so much. They made like so many mods official. And It's so cool. Like the hide and seek mod and stuff like that. And I think the sheriff one too. Yeah. Super cool.
Shapeshifter is there. Engineer.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's super cool. I would love to hop back in, but
no, so they got to like where they needed to go. So I was like, okay, have fun, be safe, whatever. And then I was like, I kind of want to see these other game modes. So I played for another like 30 minutes of just like joining random lobbies.
Oh, okay, cool.
There's a bunch of different colors and you can buy, like every time you win, you get coins and you can buy like new gear and like pets and stuff.
That's cool.
So yeah, it's really cool.
That is cool. It's still a very cool game. I think the issue lies with that game where eventually if you play with the same people too often, it just becomes really obvious when somebody is the
imposter.
And I think, I was listening to Distractable and Mark and Bob were talking about that. And they were talking about how like eventually, because they're obviously streamers, and they're playing games for a living, and they're like, you play with people and they know every pixel, they know the timing, they know everything. And it's like, it takes all the fun out of it because it's like, if I hesitated at the task for a little too long, it's like, oh, you're the guy. And it's like, no, it's so, I can see how that would get frustrated. But like, if we had like another cousins thing where like, it's just the cousins over here and like we all pull out our phone and play Among Us, that would be pretty funny.
Yeah. Especially because not a lot of us have played, a lot of us haven't played in a while.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like,
I haven't played in forever.
No, I literally forgot how to swipe my admin card. I was like, oh,
how do you do this? You guys are slow. Yeah. Super cool. Okay. Anything else?
I'm good.
You're good.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have a lot. I've just been playing. So on the lead up to, I don't know if I brought this up during Journey. I was telling you about this, but we were saving money for our backyard and stuff. So I had to budget, and I only allowed $100 a month on like fun stuff. And so I spent at the beginning of April, I spent $100 right away, like almost the first day of April, on the voucher from Nintendo, so that I could get I could pre-order Tears of the Kingdom, and then I'll get another game. I can use that voucher within the next 365 days. There's no game right now that I'm like, I'm going to get it. But if like a year goes by and the voucher's about to expire, I'm probably just going to get the Kirby and the Forgotten Land because solid. But so that meant I was like, I forget what game I was playing, but I was close to beating it. And I was like, oh no, I'm about to run out of, like, I can't buy another game. Resident Evil 4. So I beat Resident Evil 4, I think. Let me see what my list is. But basically, it was the beginning of the month, and I beat whatever game I was working on. And let's see. It was Resident Evil 2, the B-side, with my wife. And then I can add short hike here. A short hike. Nice. And then I was playing Mario Odyssey, which we're both working on a little bit. And then, but I was like, I have a month until Tears of the Kingdom comes out. And I was like, there's so many games I have on my backlog that I want to play, but I cannot commit. I have no idea like the time, like how long it's going to take. I can't commit any time to these because the last thing I want to do is start a big game and then Tears of the Kingdom comes out and nothing else matters. Yeah. Like the fact that I played that game this morning. I've played it every day. I've played it like before work during my lunch break, after work, like anytime I have.
He took time off.
Yeah. I took an entire day off of work the day it came out to play. I've been waiting 6 years for this game. This game came out. This game is like, Breath of the Wild is like 3 months younger than my relationship with my wife. Like, that's how long my Breath of the Wild has been like in my life, and that's how long I have been waiting for this sequel. Because
it was like teased,
they said we're working on a sequel to Breath of the Wild a while ago, and it was like, excuse me, you're what? And yeah, so I was like, that game's coming out. I'm gonna lose my mind. I'm gonna lose all kinds of time. It's gonna be like Japan in this house, because when games like this come out in Japan, productivity drops like 30% state or countrywide. Like, that's how big these games are.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's what it's gonna be for me. I even told my boss, I was like, I'm gonna hit my numbers. I'm gonna do all the stuff I need to do. But he knows, like, that it's a big part of my life. I was like, I might be a little more distracted and less motivated, just so you know. But I'm still gonna do everything required of me. I'm just not going to go the extra mile for a little bit.
The first look for Tears of the Kingdom was in 2019.
Yeah. And the first game came out in 2017.
Yeah.
So 2 years later, they announced,
like,
we're working on it.
We're working on this, and it came out 4 years after that.
Yeah. Crazy. And obviously COVID happened, so that probably slowed things down. But
yeah,
my God, it got pushed back like twice. And it's been so good. But I'm going to save that because me and Jess talked about it. We're probably going to do a Breath of the Wild, like, between the games retrospective, kind of talk about that. And then she'll hopefully have touched Tears of the Kingdom by then a little bit.
Yeah.
But before that, I was like, well, what am I going to do? I was like, I got to play some small games that are, because, like, I have Marvel Snap. I'm still playing that. It's fun. I love card games. I play that every day. But I was like, I got to play some smaller games that actually have, like, some substance. So I played a game called Sneaky Sasquatch on Apple Arcade. It's a fucking great game. Super fun. Very similar to, like, Short Hike, where it's just like you just do little quests here and there, and you're a Sasquatch and you can't get caught, and you use disguises, you drive golf carts, all this. It's ridiculous. It's super fun, though. Very chill game. And then I played Mario Odyssey. I talked about a little bit. And then... yeah, I fully beat, like, the B-side of Resident Evil 2, which is a great game. And I love Resident Evil 4. It was super good. But I think Resident Evil 2 is my favorite of the Resident Evil games, at least the remake. It was very, very good. And then, yeah, I was like, well, I'm like a week away from Tears of the Kingdom coming out. And it came out, and oh boy, is it good.
Yeah, my brothers have been, what's it called? That's all they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't have too much more to talk about because, like, Tears of the Kingdom is, like, taking up my life, and I don't want to talk about it because I want it to be its own episode kind of thing.
Yeah.
Even though, like, obviously it's not a short game. I've already played it longer than all of the games we've played combined.
So far.
Yeah. And, like, I've played it for probably, like, 15 hours already. Which isn't a massive amount of time, but it's pretty good.
That's over half a day.
Yeah, it's a good amount of time. But yeah, we will now be going into the spoilers section. So if you need to step away and go play this game,
it'll only take you like an hour and a half.
Yeah,
minimum.
And we're going to talk about pretty much every quest because I think we did all of them. But if you need to leave, thank you for joining us. Hopefully you can come back once you play the game if you're interested at all. Yeah, if you go play the game, please come back. But if not, we're going to see you guys in the spoiler section. All right, we are back. This is your final warning of spoilers. There's really only one major thing to spoil. And then there's, like, the quests and the dialogue and stuff that's pretty funny that should be experienced on their own.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's your final warning. We're going to get started.
Yeah. I will dive into the plot. So practically.
It's like a paragraph.
So basically, you're this. I don't even know how old it is.
Claire definitely seems like.
I thought that she was like a teenager.
I think
the bird that you play as, her name's Claire.
Yeah.
And she's like. Your starting screen is this little car driving through the rain and stuff. And then when you press start, it's, oh, hey, Claire, like, I think you're really going to love this place. Blah, blah, blah. Like, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, your mom and I used to come here all the time. And Claire's like, oh, okay. Like, Claire wasn't, like, really, really sure. But anyway, it starts off and you're, like, at the little, like, cabin that you're with your aunt with. And your aunt's a park ranger.
Aunt May.
Yeah.
Yeah, Spider-Man.
But so you're like, you like wake up. That's in air quotes.
Yeah.
I realize you guys can't see me.
Yeah. Quote unquote, wake up.
Yeah. And your aunt's like, oh, nice of you to finally wake up.
Yeah.
Like, anyway. And she's like, have you like gone exploring? And you're like, I just woke up. What do you mean have I gone exploring?
Yeah.
She's like, well, you should go to the top of Hawk Peak. Like, it's where your mom and I used to hang out all the time. And Claire's like, I can't use my phone. Yeah. And her aunt's like, oh, well, the only place that you can get reception is
at Hawk Peak. Yeah.
So you gotta start climbing.
Yeah.
And so that's really the basis of it is you need to you need your phone because you're expecting a phone call from.
You don't know.
You don't know.
It just says
the character says, I'm expecting a phone call.
Yeah.
And so you're like, all right, time to start going. And like, it literally is just running and jumping and
gliding
around
and climbing.
And then you start finding like seashells. And
like the first thing you find is a stick.
Yeah.
And then it show like you hold it, and then I was like, oh, a stick, and then you just pressed the button, and then you swung it. I was like, oh, okay, cool. There's tools in this game. Got it. And
if Eric didn't read the description for the stick, but it was a stick. I'm not fully sure why I grabbed it.
That's fine. Oh, so it's in the voice of Claire. That's funny. I like that.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't pick up a stick? It's a good stick.
Yeah, it was a sturdy stick. It lasted us the whole game.
It literally did.
There's no like, what's it called? Like durability aspects to the tools. You get a tool and it's yours forever. Yeah. Even if you get duplicates.
Yeah, I know. You can pick up like multiple sticks.
There's multiple sticks all around.
Yeah. But yeah, like the first thing they show you is like, you walk into a person and they kind of tell you about gliding. And then like then the next person you talk to is somebody who gives you a quest. And it's the first quest.
It's seashells.
Yeah, the seashell kid.
And this little tiny kid is like, I need 15 shells. Yeah. Get them.
Yeah. The dialogue is very funny. It's very witty. It also helped that me and Jess were reading it. Yeah. I was playing all of the other characters and Jess was playing Claire, which was very funny because the more she talked about as Claire was like, oh, wow, yeah, Claire's a lot like you. These are things you would literally say. But
Claire, so my dialect, I think that's the right word to say. I say a lot of nah, like, Gen Z type of dialect. Because, wow, lo and behold, I'm a 17-year-old. Yeah. But, like, Claire literally goes, nah.
Yeah. Or like, just one-word answers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or, like, just silence. Like, literally, like, there's so many times where it's just like, ... You're like, oh, yeah, that's a fair response.
Like, you said one-word answers, and I went, yeah.
Yeah. Like, literally. It's very uncanny. So, yeah, I mean, it would make sense that she was probably like 16, 17 years old, which would make sense why she was with her aunt too. If she was an adult, she'd probably be somewhere else. Like she wouldn't have to be with her aunt to be at this place. Like she could just be there, But yeah, it goes on to like, you just keep talking to people. Every time you see a person, you're like, ooh, sweet. What is this? Like that? What's it going to be? But like
that's really much all of the plot.
Yeah.
Is you're at this island with your aunt, and you need to make a phone call, so you got to climb this mountain.
Yeah, and you just talk to people just like in any game, and then they give you tutorials, they give you items, they teach you about there's literally a gator that literally just gives you rumors, and that's it. Like you just talk to him, and like I heard there was a guy with a metal detector. And it went crazy. And then Claire's like, what'd they find? I don't know. Like, they didn't have a shovel. Like,
yeah, so you ask what they found, and he's like, I don't know. And then after a while, you come back and you talk to him, and he goes, yeah, I think the name was Dale or something. Yeah. Dale didn't actually find anything because he doesn't own a shovel.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's like, the other thing is you find a frog, and he's like got a huge shovel.
For these tiny sandcastles that he's making.
Dude, that quest killed me. I did not like it was so funny, and then it just got ridiculous by the end of it.
Yeah,
like basically you show up and he's got a huge regular like digging shovel, and he's building sandcastles, and like you just talk to him, you're like, hey, can I have your shovel? He's like, well, no, I needed to build sandcastles. And he's like, Claire's like, why don't you get a smaller one?
Like, why don't you get a toy shovel for sandcastles? And he's like, well, I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
Bring me a toy shovel.
And then you like randomly find one and bring it back, and you trade it. So that's how you get your shovel, and you can dig holes where there's like little X marks or find treasure and stuff like that. And then, I mean, this is a good point to just like kind of go into like that quest line. Like basically you just keep coming back randomly and talking to him.
And he like keeps making little sandcastles.
Yeah. And at first he runs for mayor of his city, and he gets third place.
Somehow.
Yeah. And then you come back and it's like the entire beach
is filled with sandcastles.
And it has a golden feather. And that's like, and then he's like, yeah, I'm running for representative.
Providential, whatever.
Yeah, it was so funny. I was just like, oh my God.
And
it just kept getting more
first
ridiculous.
Thing in my legislation, I'm going to shorten my, what's it called? Like the cabinet.
Yeah, exactly.
And make the city that didn't vote for me pay. Second part of my legislation, free candy for all.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's just like just a dude making sandcastles. And like, yeah, that's kind of how ridiculous the game can get, and like it's super super funny. Do you want to go into like the final plot point, like the actual final plot point, or do you want to talk about quests first?
We should talk about the like. Let's get the main idea done, and then we'll sidetrack because we can get really sidetracked.
Yes, it's a good point. So do you want to cover that final bit?
Okay. So you need these golden feathers to help you get up the mountain and stuff. And, you know, the mountain's so cold that your feathers, like, freeze. Yeah. And you need hot springs.
Or a fire.
Yeah. And you kind of stand in the fire.
Yeah.
Whatever.
That's fine.
But you make your way to the top of this mountain, and there's, like, cliffs that you need to jump and glide. And, like, walls that you need to climb up. Just, you know, little...
It's pretty chill. Like, when you're not racing, there's a race you can do to the top. When you're not racing, it's a pretty chill time.
Yeah. You literally can find a hot spring every time you need it. Yeah. They're, like, conveniently placed. Yeah. It's not like, oh, you need to turn back and do all of this.
Exactly.
It's literally, oh, hey, I'm running low on feathers. There's another hot spring right there.
Yep.
But, so you get to the top, and there's a big hot spring, and then this tiny little, like, cliff at the top. And you finally get there, and you get the phone call, and it's from Claire's mom.
Yeah. Well, it's one of my favorite parts about it was like you're at the top, and it's like the northern lights.
It shows
and it's
you the
beautiful,
northern lights, and you get
Claire
kind of like stuck in the moment.
Yeah, Claire just sits down, and I'm like, huh, she forgot about the phone call, and then it rings. Like it was like I really like, oh, she literally did forget. She was like, oh yeah, I forgot why I'm up here. Like, because it was just like, oh yeah, this is such a nice like
view.
It's a beautiful vista. The northern lights are literally happening right in front of me, and she just kind of, and that's kind of like what the whole game is like just take a moment,
take a moment and look.
Yeah.
But then you get the phone call from your mom, and she's like, yeah, sweetie, like, you don't need to worry about me. How are you? And Claire's like, Mom, you had a surgery and you didn't tell me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm okay, but my God.
Yeah.
And then the hot spring behind you kind of erupts and it creates an updraft. And the mom's like, oh, is that the famous updraft?
Hawk Peak updraft? Yeah.
Like, your aunt and I used to go flying in that like all the time, every summer. Like, you need to go fly on it. And Claire's like, Mom, you just got out of the hospital. Like, come on. And her mom's like, don't worry about me. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
You go enjoy.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, I love you. And it was a really bittersweet. It was really cute.
Yeah.
Because like they were talking about how much they love each other, and I was like, oh, that's cute.
It was really cute. And then that's when you hit your journey moment.
Yeah. No, I was talking about the wind.
Oh, the wind?
The wind tunnel.
Oh, the wind tunnel. No, this was like a journey moment for me because the second it like you'd go up the draft and start coming down and the music changes and everything, I got chills. So I was like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And you can zip. Like I took a long time going down that mountain, but then the second time I went down it, I just dove and it just boom, and I like skipped off a rock.
It was really funny. Luckily, you don't take fall damage because it's not like a violent game where you have to regain health and stuff. But it was really funny because he skipped off a rock and went straight into the ocean.
Yeah, it was so funny. But yeah, you said you were confused about something. So
if this is Claire's like first time at this island, how did like so many people know her name? Like that deer with the motorboat?
Yeah.
Why was it like, hey Claire?
Yeah. Well, maybe I don't think it was her first time at the island necessarily.
But maybe first time going up to Hawks Peak.
Yeah. Because I think one of the things was she'd probably been there when she was young and she wasn't old enough to go up there. Because, like, if you notice, all of the kids are on the beach. No one's even, like, above.
And the smallest person only got past the crow.
Exactly. Yeah. So, like.
There's this crow who's trying to make his way through school.
Yeah, he's a sweetheart.
And so he buys feathers for $40 and then sells them at the base of the peak for $100.
Yeah. And that's what another really funny thing is, like, there's a point where you get to the first, like, the first ranger station and they're like, oh yeah, we're selling feathers and they're $40 each. Like, oh, cool, that's not too expensive. So I bought both of them. They're like, oh well, that's all we have. Some kid bought up all the rest of them and ran off. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then you run into him later and you're like, oh, this is the kid. This is the guy who bought them all. At first you think it's just like a gameplay mechanic where you're like, oh, I'm not going to be able to get those. And it's like, oh no, it's like literally later. He's just jacking up the prices.
Yeah. He's just trying to fund himself.
Yeah.
I think that's the main. We covered the main plot points.
Yeah, that's it. That's literally it. It's literally get to the top of because your mom had surgery that you probably found out about on the car ride to the island.
Your aunt probably like accidentally blabbered about it. You probably weren't even supposed to know.
Yeah, and then you get to the top so she can call you, and then you talk, and that's it. But yeah, it's a really cute moment, and it's a very simple plot, and it's just get to the top of the mountain, and that's it. Takes like two hours max, maybe, and that's. I mean, honestly, you could probably beat this game in like under an hour if you really wanted to.
Yeah, we got sidetracked.
Super, and that's the point of the game.
Yeah, it's just to hang out.
Very much like Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, where you just kind of get distracted and you're like, oh, I'm gonna go do that.
He's never gonna let this game go.
No, it's incredible. I love it so much. But what were some of your favorite quests?
Beach stickball.
Beach stickball was so funny.
Especially just the conversation.
Yeah,
there.
Those kids were unhinged.
Beach stickball or the painter.
The painter one was very nice.
Oh, and the camper.
The one with the watch?
No. The one who gave us bait.
Oh yeah, that one was really funny. Yeah, the beach stickball one was definitely up there for the dialogue because it's a little game you play with two kids that they invent, where you hit a beach ball over the. It's
how Claire described it. It's volleyball but with sticks.
Yeah, and that's basically it.
Yeah. But it's not you against the kid. It's you and the kid against the world.
Yeah, because you're just trying to get a high volley number. And it's so funny. It's like the sister is sitting in the lifeguard stand, and it's like the other kid is describing. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna hit it back over there, and you're gonna hit it, and then don't let it hit the ground, or do. It's up to her decision. Like it's totally just like a kid, like being like, this is the rules of the game, but like it's not really like.
Rule number 1: don't let the ball hit the ground.
Yeah.
Rule number 2: or do. It's clear. It's her decision.
Yeah.
Rule number 3: be yourself. Yeah. Rule number 3 is the most important rule.
Don't forget number 3. It's so funny. Just be yourself.
And so when Eric first played, they were like, if we get 10 volley, then you'll get a prize.
Yeah.
And we got quote unquote 8, but the
little boy
was like, no, we got 9, and the sister was like, no, the serve doesn't count. And the little boy's like, well, let's ask Claire.
Yeah,
Claire,
you actually get to choose. Yeah,
and you get to choose if it counts or not. And so we said that it counted.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, sure.
We got 9. And then the next time Eric played, we got 23.
Yeah, and which completed that part of the quest and the second part of the quest, which was
we didn't even know about.
Get 20. Yeah, apparently there's a third one, which is get 30, but we don't need to do that.
Yeah, and then so get
10 gets you a golden feather, I think.
Yeah, 10 gets you the golden feather, and then we got to 20, and he was like, I want to give you a prize for getting to 20, but and then like was scrambling to find like a gift for you, and was like, oh, you know what, take all the money in my pocket.
And you think like when you see that, it's like, oh,
when
it's
like
gonna
a child, it's gonna be like 5 coins, like, and it's 70. And Claire's like, dude, like this is a lot of money, like what do you mean?
He's like, I can't take this.
And the kid goes, oh, it's okay, my family's rich.
Yeah, it was so funny. And then Claire's like, oh, okay, cool, thanks. So good.
Kept going.
Yeah, that was so funny. But yeah, the painter one's really cool because like as you're moving up and up and up and up like the island slowly, as you're like doing quests and completing quests and doing this, you keep running into this painter who's like
struggling to find his muse.
Yeah. And like Claire keeps pointing out, it's like, no, this is really good. Like, what's wrong? And like it's basically like a very kind of stereotypical story of an artist trying to fit into the mold that they want to be instead of just painting what they want to paint. And that's where it like goes. Is like,
yeah, he's like, I got invited to this contemporary art show by the John, whatever his name is. Artsworth. It's Ian Artsworth.
That was so funny. I was like, Ian Artsworth? Oh my God. That's so funny.
But he's like, and all I paint are these landscapes.
Yeah.
And if I want to like look good at this exhibit, then I need to paint something more contemporary.
Yeah.
And like as you're following him up and up, he's like he keeps finding different vistas, and it's all like
it's like the shore, and then the lighthouse, and then the cemetery, and then he's like at like almost the peak at one point, like painting.
Yeah, and then he goes down to the viewpoint. Mm-hmm. And then you find him back at the shore.
Yeah, and he's painting the ranger.
The ranger.
Which is so cute. That was so funny.
And he was like, I need to paint what I love and like what I want to paint. And then the ranger goes, and you thought of me?
Yeah. He's like,
and you're gonna make me blush. And
he's like, well, why are you painting Ranger Tom? And he's like, well, because Ranger Tom's part of the park and he's the best. He's like, oh, thanks. He's so funny.
And Ranger Tom was like, you're going to make me blush. And the artist, I forgot his name.
I don't think we ever...
They never give like the like character names in the chat bubbles. You just kind of like find out through other people.
Yeah, some just don't have names. And like literally like, it's like a big deal that the turtle that you run into, his name's Taylor. Like, it's like, oh, okay, cool. But yeah, that was a really cool one. I was like really excited to. We actually like got sidetracked when we were playing and like didn't finish that one. So I'm glad we went back and finished that one because it was really good.
But it ends up with you being like, paint whatever you want. Like Ian Artsworth invited you because he likes your landscapes, right? So paint your landscapes.
Exactly.
And he's like, I should take all of them, even the cemetery one where it was raining and all my paint.
I know that one was so funny. He's like, isn't it kind of hard to paint in the rain? I'm like, yeah. But I'm trying to be quick. It's so funny. Like the lines are so, because the best part is they're all very short. So they're very snappy. Like they just get to the point and they're just like quick punchlines. They're so funny. But
what's your deal?
I deal in shells. Dude, that kid killed me. So like the shells are kind of hard to come by. They're not like all over the place. So you're just kind of getting them throughout. And I remember I got the final shell. And I was like, oh my God, finally. Like this was like halfway into our playthrough. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go back to that kid. And I gave him the shells and he's like, thanks. And Claire's like,
hey, do you like, that's it. And he didn't even say thanks. He was like, cool.
Oh yeah.
And Claire's like, so like,
what my reward?
Where's my reward? And the kid's like, I didn't mention any reward when I told you to go.
Which is true. He just said, can you find 15 seashells for me?
And so Claire's like, oh, okay. And the kid's like, you want a job? And Claire's like, I already got a job. What do you mean? And kid's like, well, call this a side gig then.
Yeah, it's so funny. This kid's like so just sassy.
And then it ended up just being that you had to take the seashell necklace that he made out of all of the seashells that you brought to your aunt.
Yeah, which was like 15 feet away.
Yeah.
And then
your aunt gives you a golden feather and is like, oh, hey, I stumbled across this. And Claire goes, is this like the reward for bringing you the necklace?
And she's like, what are you talking about?
She's like, huh? Never mind. Yeah. And you go over back to the kid and you're like, okay, this is a job. So now I need a payment. So what do I get? What do we... I think
he gave you 12 shells.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't even give you the 15 back. He gives you 12. And then you don't use shells for anything else.
That's the last time you use the shells.
It was so funny. That was a really good one. And I really liked the, which we stumbled upon was we talked to the rock climbers at the beginning because they told us like, oh, you need a golden feather to climb. And I was like, oh, cool. And we got one. And I was like, oh, it tells you how to climb. So we never went back to them until like way late in the game. And it was so funny because they're like, because it literally sets up as, okay, you have one golden feather. You can climb up the short rock wall. And then it's like, oh, well, you obviously need more
to climb the big rock wall.
But at that time we had 18. So we were like, yeah, what's the problem? That was easy. I could flap up there. It's easy.
Yeah.
And they're like, and then it's funny because like literally right at the start was
there's
like
a rhino and then a
fox, I think.
It's a tiny, I just know that's a tiny animal.
Yeah. And the rhino is the one on the ground and he's like clearly like competent and like in charge. And I think his name was Tom.
Yeah.
Or Tim.
Yeah. Tim.
And then the other one, I don't know his name, but like
so the rhino's like really gentle and like soft spoken. He's like, yeah, we're part of the rock climbing club. Like, and Claire's like, just the two of you? And then the tiny one who's like halfway up the wall is like, actually,
it's worldwide. Yeah,
we're a worldwide, and there's
35 different countries and something like that.
The Rock Climbing Association is spread across 35 different countries with millions of people
growing every day. It was so funny.
And then, so once
Claire's like, well, I meant like this club,
and the rhino's like, yeah,
you'd
like,
be the third member.
You only be the third member.
So funny.
And then once you climb with them, the Tim's like, oh well, you're part of the club now, and like you're the third member, and then the person climbing is like, third member, just a drop to the big ocean of rock climbing. Yeah,
it was so funny. And then like you meet him, we're like, well, and it kind of seems like that's just it, but then obviously once we went back up to the top of the mountain for whatever reason. We saw them on the way up, and like I was like, "Oh, he made it." I was like, "Well, he didn't really make it because like the fox is like stuck on the top, and then Tim the rhino is just looking down at him like, "Are you okay?" Like,
and the kid's like, "The animal." Yeah. I'm gonna call him a fox from now on.
I think he's a fox.
He's like, I can't do it. What am I thinking? And the rhino's like, dude, you can do it. Like, it's okay. You got this. And he's like, I can't. I don't have what it takes to be a rock climber. Yeah. Oh my God. And then you leave, you come back, and they're at after that little cliff, which is the first thing at the Polar Bear Ranger.
Yeah. So what are some other quests you wanted to talk about before we close out? I think there's only a couple more that are real standouts.
The poor little camper. When you first like come across the first park ranger, not your aunt,
Tom.
Yeah,
Tim is the rhino, or maybe it's Tim. I don't know. One of the two. It's Tim or Tom, something like that.
T name.
Yeah.
You come across this park ranger, and he's selling you the feather and also a hat. The one hat they have left in stock.
Yes. So it's $100.
$100. And honestly, I don't know if the hat contributed to this.
Yeah, I'm curious.
I'm going to say that it is. It does. But so we bought this hat because I was like, I want the hat, please. So we go around and we get $100. And after a while, we find this little camper in like this little nook.
Yeah.
Like
randomly.
In between these two walls of a cliff, like he's just chilling in there. You walk up and you go talk to him, and he's like, like I'm here. I have my permit. I have my fishing license.
He's like super panicked.
And he's like scared, like he's terrified. And you're like, cool, didn't ask.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're not with the junior park rangers?
Well, no, at first he bribes you before that.
Oh, yeah.
He bribes you. He's like straight up like...
He's like, oh, I can bribe you, and then shoves
he's
bait.
like, all you get is bait. And it's like...
Four worms. And Claire literally looks at it and is like, did you just put worms in my hand?
Yeah, did you just give me a handful of worms? It's like, oh my God.
He's like, well, yeah, because like...
It's fishing bait.
It's fishing bait.
Yeah.
And Claire's like, cool. He goes, so you're not going to like talk to anyone? And Claire's like, no.
Yeah.
Like nope. why would I? And he's like, so you're not with the Junior Park Ranger Association?
Yeah.
No. Oh.
Yeah, that's when it was like, oh yeah, that was the first time we found out that I think was when he actually name drops like Claire says, oh, my aunt is a park ranger, because I don't think we knew I don't know if at that point it had already said that was your aunt that was with, because it kind of like, I don't know if it did. Maybe it did. Maybe the first conversation we have with the aunt is like saying that it's the aunt, but at first I thought it was the mom. Like it just felt kind of like, oh yeah, it's just a maternal.
No, she says Aunt May.
Okay, gotcha.
She's like, yeah, Aunt May. Like I just woke up.
Gotcha. Okay. But yeah, she's like, oh no, my aunt works for the park. I don't. Yeah, but I don't work for her. Like, yeah, it's so funny.
And then like you come back and you just keep talking to him, and he's like, Claire's like, so like what happened to your like permit anyway? And he's like, you're not gonna believe it. And Claire's like, well, what? He goes, a fish ate it.
Yeah.
And we had fished before. And
Nothing happened.
Yeah. And then the next time we fished, we caught a rainbow trout.
Yeah.
And oh wait, the trout has something in his mouth. Yeah. What is it? It's a permit, a camping permit.
We were like, no way. I totally thought that was just going to be the end of it. Like, I didn't think there was actually going to be
like a permit that we found.
Exactly.
And we take it back to him and we're like, hey, is this your permit? And he goes, oh my God.
Yeah.
And he gives us the rest of his bait.
Yeah.
And he's like, I do not want to fish right now.
Yeah.
You can take all of this.
Yeah, it was so funny.
It was only 6 worms.
Yeah, it was such a nice little like wrap up. It was really funny. But like to go along with the fishing, like that guy, the part where you learn how to fish is awesome. You just sit next to a little hippo, and Claire's like, he's like, oh yeah, I can teach you how to fish for sure. Here's a spare rod, and then here's how you cast, and Claire sits down next to him, and the music dies, and it's just you and him and the fish.
Like boring.
Yeah, and Claire's like,
so what next?
So what do I do? Or am I doing it right? He's like, yep. He's like, should I reel in? And he's like, nope. I saw a fish here earlier. It's a good spot. It's like, okay.
Should I recast?
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. And it's just like, so what do I do? He's like, you just wait. You gotta be patient. He's like, not my strong suit. And then it was like, and then it starts nibbling, and then you get the fish, and it's just a cute little moment. That's it. Like,
and then the fisherman said, the little hippo goes, "You're a natural," and Claire goes, "It sure doesn't feel like it."
Yeah, exactly. It was so funny, and it was like a cute little moment, and you just get to sit there, and you can sit there as long as you want to, just be quiet. And it was really nice. But I think aside from the painter one, the one that really like stands out is Avery, because there's 3 times you have to interact with Avery, whereas all the other ones it's like you kind of check in on him
every so often.
Yeah, that's why the painter one was cool, because you kept running into him like, oh shoot, it's like, the painter. I've seen you before. Yeah. But Avery's a little bird, and he wanted to run in the marathon, but he didn't sign up in time, so he watched a bunch of videos on parkour
for 2 hours. So if I may explain.
Yeah, go ahead.
He wanted to sign up for the marathon that was happening that day. That day.
Yeah. Like
earlier in the day. And he was like, I tried signing up, but apparently registration ended a month ago.
Yeah.
So I cried a little bit, and then I watched 2 hours of parkour, and now my new adventure that I'm totally obsessed with is being the best parkour racer there is.
Yeah. So you race him in a little parkour, like up a tower kind of thing. And it was fairly easy. And then the second one, did you do the second one? Because I don't know. It was the lighthouse was the second one.
Yeah.
And then the lighthouse one was a little more difficult. And then I think I spent like 25 minutes on the final one. which was
retrying.
Yeah, because you had to be perfect. And apparently there's even more difficult ones. If you rematch Avery, he'll do it again, and he learned how to
quicker.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh. But now, if we wanted to, we have the silver feathers, so that would be. We didn't have a single one during. It would have made that last race so much easier. But yeah, the last race is like you race him to the top. Like it was so funny because I had to keep restarting, and I finally beat him. He's like, okay,
okay, hold on, I gotta catch my breath.
And then it literally like has a pause for like 5 seconds of him like actually catching his breath with like no dialogue, no nothing, and he's like, "You did good." It was like that was it, and it was so cute. Like it was just like a dream, man. It was so cool to like just play this game. Like I can't recommend it enough. I think everybody should play it. $8. You have any like closing thoughts, really?
Just it's a really fun like. I forgot that it's 100 degrees here. Like
yeah, it did feel cooler.
Yeah, and maybe that's because we're in the coldest area of your house.
Yes, it's true. My office.
But like, it made me forget that like I'm in the one of the hottest states in
the country.
And I was like, oh yeah, I'm at this little island, and I'm like,
nice. I can feel the breeze.
And like, the one thing though is that this island has very weird weather.
Oh yeah, that was true.
You go from one part and it's all sunny and the music's all like ukulele and it's all nice, and then you get to a cemetery and it immediately starts downpouring with like somber music, and you're like, fuck, okay.
Like, whoa, what happened?
You pass that and it's just like ukulele again, and then like you go up and then it's like hard music with all the ice around you, and you're like,
that one at least makes sense.
Yeah.
But the fact that there's just torrential downpour on one part of the island is so funny. But yeah, I definitely think everybody should play this. It's definitely worth the $8, and I'm sure it goes on sale for even less. But yeah, that was it. I didn't really see how much time this episode was, but I feel like it was a nice little bite-sized one. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this, please let us know. I can't really think of a question, but here's a good question to go along with this. What's a good game that you play to kind of escape? It's like a game you come back to, because this is what this game kind of feels like, is a game you can come back to and replay and kind of feel good and just kind of mess around in. What's a game like that? I'm sure for a lot of people it's like Minecraft, Skyrim, Grand Theft Auto, something like that.
I was in the middle of a sip of my water, but Minecraft.
Yeah. For me, it was Breath of the Wild. It'll probably be Tears of the Kingdom now, just to like jump in and do whatever. But yeah, if you enjoyed this, please follow, subscribe, whatever platform it is. If it's subscribe. If it's follow, turn on notifications so you know when we post, because we don't post that often. So it's important when we do post.
Give us 5-star rating on Spotify.
Yeah, or Instagram, or not Instagram. Instagram. We don't have an Instagram. Apple Podcasts, anywhere that you can rate it, that is a tremendous help to the growth of the channel. And then you can follow us on Twitter at ShortLongPod, which I have not forgotten what it's called anymore. ShortLongPod. We don't post too often. Basically, it's just another way to get updates of when there's a new episode.
Maybe now that I'm not in high school, I might be brushing up on that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Maybe we'll have more posts on there. And then you can follow me on Twitter as well. It's Mr. the Human. It's MR, not the full word. And yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed this one. Our next episode is probably going to be a Between the Games, but then following that, we will be playing in June Oxenfree. Finally. We've talked about that on like 3 or 4 different episodes.
I've had it on my Switch, and I was playing it, and I got through like the first couple scenes, and then when we were like, let's play Oxenfree, I was like, okay. So I restarted my game, and I have not touched it since.
You should, when we do play that, you should bring your Switch, because I only have it on my phone.
Okay.
So, which I can put it on my monitor, but it's not going to look that good. But the reason we're doing that is because Oxenfree 2 comes out in July. So we might do like a double episode, because I really want to do Firewatch over the summer, because that's when it takes place. It takes place over the summer, and it's a really good summer game. And I really want you to like experience that story, because it is wild.
Okay.
It's another very like Edith Finch kind of thing, where it's like, oh yeah, this seems chill, and then it gets like weird and weird and weird, and you're like, what is happening? And then it like Yeah, it gets wild.
We'll get into that.
We'll get there. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and we will see you guys next time.
Later.